Welcome, beginning teachers. If you want to know about reporting in Queensland secondary schools, then this is the presentation for you. I'm Joanne Hughes, and this is in conjunction with Central Queensland University, Australia. So the rationale for reporting is about communicating information, feedback in plain language about the student learning to their parents or guardians. And the reasons why we would want to do that is, well, firstly, to build the student home and student connection, develop respectful and trustworthy relationship with those parents, with the shared responsibility of the student's growth and development. Reporting can also help the students and their parents consider their learning capabilities, their development, their areas for improvement, but also their long-term future goals. And for teachers and the schools themselves, we can also use some of the conversations and information from the parents and their guardians about how we can improve teaching strategies, engagement strategies, and the performance of those students, which would be aligned with community focused goals, such as the national policy for closing the gap strategy in Indigenous or First Nations Australian students. So how we actually report is that we must provide objective and accurate assessment of the student progress and achievement before and after knowledge and achievement acquisition has occurred. So this is called the learning progress and the reporting period in which that occurs. It should be evidence-based and it should be conducted using on-balance judgments rather than just the opinion of the teacher. It can be performed in a variety of different methods through phone calls, interviews, conversations. We can also do it a bit more specifically about assessment feedback, digital portfolios, or we will focus this presentation on report cards. And these can either be electronic or paper records for the parent. But just to touch on the purpose of assessment before we go on, Professor Jeff Masters from AITSL states that assessment in education is to establish and understand where learners are in an aspect of their learning at the time of assessment. So what we need to be mindful of when we are reporting is that there are many different types of assessment and each with its own diagnostic power. So we can have pre and post assessment of the learning period. We can have one major assessment that occurs at the end of the learning progression. Like an external exam or a large portfolio or a performance or a project of some kind. But we can also have continuous assessment through formative and summative tasks, and this can occur throughout that reporting period. So we just need to be mindful of what assessment we're actually using in the reporting period. We also need to recognise that in every class there is heterogeneity and diversity in our students. Some classrooms may have diversity in student capabilities that can span across 5 to 6 academic years. So in a year 7 class there may be capability or students that are aligned with the achievement standards of a year 4 reading level, for example, and also other students that are aligned with a year 10. So we really need to cater for those different students. So we need to differentiate our content and we need to personalize the learning experience. We need to recognize that although we have a roadmap in our mind about that learning progression, then every student is going to have their own roadmap and they may have different methods of achieving those learning goals, but maybe very fast, some step by step, some will take you on a journey that you didn't even know existed. But the point is, before and after progress of that learning period is what we report on. We use assessment evidence against ACARA or QCAA achievement standards. And these achievement standards describe a broad range of expected learning outcomes for every student. So the example I've provided here is for English, and we can see it's Year 7 English, and we can see it's split into two paragraphs. So the first paragraph of the achievement standards is recognizing the conceptual understanding of that subject, and the second paragraph is about students demonstrating sophistication of skills and their ability in that subject. We collect, as teachers, we collect assessment evidence to demonstrate the achievement across both of those areas, and it should be from a range of learning of the curriculum. It should be in a variety of ways in a variety of different assessment situations. Underpinning our obligations are the Australian Education Act and Regulation 2013, which provides the legislation on how to enact reporting. Reporting should be understandable. It should be at least twice a year, and for years 1 to 11 it should be accurate and objective assessment of that student progress and achievement against those national standards, relative to the peer group as well, and reported on a 5-point scale, normally A to E. In years 11 and 12, a similar situation occurs, but we need to make the parent aware that they are provisional results until the QCAA has actually completed all their quality assurance regimes for ATAR. So just a bit more detail about those unbalanced, or the 5-point scale using unbalanced judgments. I've taken this table from years 3 to 10 on the QCAA reporting standards, and if a student was to achieve an A grade, then they would be demonstrating a very high level of knowledge and understanding of the content and application of those skills. If they are going to achieve a B, it would be a high level, a C, a sound level, a D, a limited level, and E, a very limited level. So we're using common language for objective reporting on the quality of the student's work and achievement. And if you want a bit more detail, there are some standard elaborations which are subject specific and year level specific language that can be used. So I encourage you to go to the QCAA website and have a look at those. When we're creating those judgments, we also need to be mindful that there is a moderation process of a collaborative group of teachers that have a professional discussion about that students' achievement against those standards. And this improves our consistency between different classes, different schools, and also boosts the parental confidence in the accuracy of the awarded results that we provide. Finally, just some extra things that might be included in report cards. So we can also, or I shouldn't say could be, should be reported in their report cards. We need to talk about their participation and skills. We can talk about students' attendance, their effort, their punctuality, also some of those 21st century skills that they're demonstrating, like social and behavioural aspects of their learning. And we can also provide some specific feedback on experiences and activities that would result in further learning after the reporting period, so they can achieve those long-term goals. I just wanted to say thank you very much and appreciate your time.